Hi, this is Katie Gamble. I'm here with my buddy Charlie Coon for another episode of Clarksville's Conversation, where we bring people in from the community and tell you a little bit about them, people that kind of make Clarksville great. Right, Charlie?
That's right.
Yeah.
And today's a good day because our guest, you know how much I love music and video and stuff like that. Our guest is deep into that industry. So we've got Tony Griffith, CEO of GFM Productions, with us today. We just met him, but I'm totally interested in your story, so welcome.
Welcome. Thank you. I'm glad to be here.
Yes, sir.
You guys got a beautiful facility here, and I'm excited about being part of what you're doing.
So now you are recently opened GFM here in Clarksville, correct?
Yes. So we actually kind of flew a little bit under the radar. We were working on getting things launched right when the pandemic kicked up, and so we are just now finishing our last phase of I guess you could say construction, not really construction, just getting things prepared now, and so we're open, we're doing business, and we're super excited about being in Clarksville.
So tell us just kind of briefly because I know you do a ton of stuff and we could do a whole episode on that, but just kind of briefly tell us what all GFM does.
We are a multifunctional facility that we handle everything from artist branding to television commercials and things of that nature, but anything audio, video, branding, and photography, we're in the midst of somehow.
Gotcha.
So how did you decide to get into that business, and why Clarksville?
Well, to make a long story very short, I opened my first publishing company when I was 17, and I opened it with the owner of a radio station, so I have a radio station background. I'm from a little small town in Alabama, and so I grew up working radio. I actually worked in Christian radio for quite a while, and my family traveled and sang, and so I just kind of wanted to see how everything worked behind the scenes, and I did that for quite a while, and I decided after we came to Nashville the very first time and cut a record that I wanted to produce records. And so I went out and got a loan with my dad, had him go with me to my local bank, and we took a trailer and we gutted it out and bought about $25,000 worth of recording equipment. And back then, you could get some stuff done for that kind of money. Yeah. And we just hold that place out, and we started doing records. And I called a guy named John Steed who had no idea who I was, and we ended up producing a record for him. And I worked a deal where he would come in, and we gave him a record deal. And by the time that year was over with, we'd produced our first #1 song, and he was male vocalist of the year in the Christian country world. And it just kind of went from there. And so I've been trying to get my hands into this world ever since, and it's been cool.
Charlie, while he was 17 being responsible opening a company, I still circling Sonic on Friday nights.
You probably were.
No, I was. No, I really was.
So tell me, the music industry is definitely a tough industry and cutthroat for sure. So how do you, once you start finding some success, what gets you to that next level? How do you really get in there?
I think the biggest thing is just like any business. It's all about networking. It's who you know. It's proving yourself. And I've had to work through the years to just really prove myself. Yeah. And you just try to get your name in front of people who have credibility. And that's what we've tried to do at GFM. We've tried to develop a company with credibility. And even when we made our hires, we hired people that had credibility. Brandon Talby from Craig Morgan. He's the bassist for Craig Morgan. He's our studio manager. He was with Montgomery Gentry for 5 years, and he was with Sonic Flood. They've had some major songs in the Christian world, so he's our studio manager. And then Jody McBrayer from Avalon, the big Christian group, he's producing for us full time, and 4.5 million records, 21 #1 songs. So we try to surround ourselves with people with credibility.
Who are some of the artists that you are currently working with?
Right now, we are in a launch phase with some new artists. We've got a brand new country band called Cherry Avenue that we are kind of deeply trying to help get behind and support. And they've got some new stuff coming out. Matter of fact, we shot video over the weekend. We've got history with folks like T. Graham Brown. I produced the Christmas record for T. Graham Brown. You can find it in Ernest Tubbs and Cracker Barrel, and I've worked with Trick Pony and a bunch of other people. And right now it's just kind of we're in this launch phase of trying to find new talent because of the way things are. Everybody's looking to kind of get that big break, and now that touring has kind of come to this screeching halt,
right?
Everybody's looking for a new way to get discovered, and so we're finding that a lot of new people are reaching out to us wanting to figure out, okay, what do we have to do to get to that next place?
I have a kind of a random question.
Okay.
Sure.
So when you're out looking for new people, how do you do that locally? But then also, we see all these TV shows, that the Voice and American Idol and all these shows. Do you watch them and sometimes try to connect with some of those artists? Or
It's funny. A lot of the times, the people that you see on those shows are people that have already come through our network. Like, take for instance The Voice. Right now there are 3 girls on there. We actually know one of the sisters really well. She traveled in a Southern gospel group. Her name is Sadie Matthews, and so we know her very well. So I think the group's called Worth the Wait. They just got on Blake Shelton's team. Then Justin Rivers, who was big on The Voice back in the day, and he was on Blake's team, and I think he was a 4th place winner. Well, he was a big Southern gospel artist for years that we've known for a long time. I actually cut the very first demos he ever did before he even went to The Voice. Ricky Brady traveled with Karen Peck and New River. Like, most of these people have traveled through, and a lot of them start in the gospel world. And so that's been a world that I've been a part of since I was a kid. So coming into the secular world and seeing some of the things on that side of things over the last 15 years, it's funny how that all correlates.
Now, you said something a while ago that I thought was interesting, and I want to circle back to. You mentioned that, touring, doing concerts is how artists used to get their name out there, make money. Well, in this environment, they can't do that. And you said you've been working with some.
Yes.
What are some of the new ways they're gonna have to? What are some of the new things they're gonna have to do to get their names out there and be known?
I think social media is a huge platform. I mean, even through things like the podcast that we're doing right now, it's all about what people see, perceptions, everything. You take Tori Kelly; she's one of the most popular artists in the world right now, and she started doing YouTube videos, and that's how she was discovered. She actually got turned down by Simon Cowell.
Justin Bieber.
Yeah. He told her that she was a screeching owl and that she didn't sound great, and now she's selling more number 1 hits than anybody. So social media is big. We do a lot of video content. We bring them in and, cutting great songs for people. It's all about quality, not quantity. A lot of people are doing this thing where they put a new song out every week, a new song, and that's great. But it's, you take a song, you record it really well, you put the finances into it and get it cut correctly, and then you get a great video content behind it, and then you support that. And so we're doing that type of stuff and helping them grow their social media, helping them grow their branding, and how to do certain posts as far as their social media goes, and where to spend money and where not to. So there's a lot to it.
Yeah, and I'm gonna double back to a question I asked you earlier. Why Clarksville? Why are you not in Nashville? Why are you in Clarksville?
Well, it's so funny. I think that's been the question. Like, everybody has asked me that question. Well, first of all, I live in Clarksville. I've been here for about almost 5 years now. And we love Clarksville. I love everything about it. And I have learned over the years that going back and forth into Nashville, there's just a lot of hustle and bustle. And I've even had people complain and say, I would rather just cut somewhere outside of Nashville. We had a very reputable artist reach out to us the other day that we're kind of going to keep it under the radar. But she said, hey, I heard about your place. Somebody highly recommended it to me. And I'm just looking for somewhere that I can get away from town. I just want to get out of town and just come somewhere that I can write, I can work. We've got bus parking. We've got a place that they can plug up, and they can just come and be away. And Brandon likes to call it being away from the suits. A lot of time the record execs, they want to come in and they want to put their 2 cents into the record. So these folks are looking to be able to be very creative, and so
be artist.
So we try to give them an environment that's conducive to that. We can change the lighting. There's so many things that we can do in the building. You've been in the room, and so we want to give them a place that they can rest. So, and we also wanted to bring something to Clarksville. This is my town. I want to support my town.
Let me tell you something funny. This takes me back kind of when I was a kid growing up. My mother owned a music store in Dixon, and you talk about artists that would come in to a small music store versus driving to Nashville, because a lot of them live, in Dixon.
Sure.
So, or in Hurricane Mills, and Johnny Cash lived right down the street. So these people would come in a little old music store because they liked it, rather than just going to Nashville for some of their items. So it's kind of the same thing. You're more into the production piece, but they would come in and buy little PA systems and do all kinds of neat stuff. And somebody walks in and you're like, oh, there's Loretta Lynn. And who knew?
It's crazy. And it's like, people even have asked us, well, can you get the musicians that they use, down in Nashville?
Absolutely.
Because a lot of the country world, they want to use studio guys. And we've had Steve Henson up. Mike Johnson comes up and plays steel. We've had just the best of the best players from the Opry that'll come in and play. And it's wild. And they actually love it. Matter of fact, Steve Henson came up and said, man, you just need to put my name over this couch right here. And this is the most comfortable atmosphere I've been in recording in a while. So it's been really neat to see those guys come up and want to be involved, and they like to get out of town too.
Absolutely.
So you're recording now.
Mm-hmm.
You're still working on the build out. When do you expect everything to be kind of ready to go?
We're hoping by Christmas time we'll be able to to do all the stuff. The photography suite is what's taking some time. We're building a television set and a photography suite, and so we want to be able to do. We've got some TV shows that we're talking with about producing, and
that's cool.
And so that'll be cool
you
to bring to
tell us that,
Clarksville.
or you won't tell us that?
I can't get into that information yet.
We won't tell anyone, will we? We'll keep it a secret.
We keep it a secret. Just don't tell the camera.
Yeah.
So we're working on some things of that nature, and so we're excited. We've got some music videos that we're about to start shooting, and I think we're going to even do some family portrait stuff in there. We've got another photographer that wants to come in, so it's a cool atmosphere. People are going to really love what we're doing. I think it's going to be neat.
So when I met him the other day, I knew, and I even told him this would be right up your alley.
Oh, yeah.
Charlie loves this kind of stuff.
I love it. And we got to know this part. So there's so much talent here in our region, Clarksville, but even around Fort Campbell. How do people that aspiring musicians, how do they contact you and say, hey, you need to hear me. I'm good.
Well, our offices are at 2277 Wilma Rudolph Boulevard. So we're in Suite D, which we have all three of the suites there on that side. They can stop by. They can go to gfmmultimedia.com and look us up, and we've got there's information, the phone numbers, and all that stuff where they can reach out and call us, and we'll have somebody chat with them. They can set up a meeting, and we love finding new talent. We had a lady come in yesterday from Clarksville. I had no idea was a songwriter, and that I had actually produced a song that she had written.
Oh, wow.
And she said, I found out you were here from Debbie Davis, which is a lady I do a lot of demo work for. And she said, I can't believe you're in Clarksville. I just moved here to get closer to Nashville. And then to find out that you're here and that you had produced one of my songs, I just wanted to come by and introduce myself. And now we're about to start a demo package with her. So,
good.
So we've got songwriters that come in. We have a publishing company. So we're able to pitch and plug. We can get, we've got connections into all the big country artists and all the gospel artists. And so, we can help artists pitch their songs, from point, like I say, point A to point Z. We're kind of the Walmart of the music business. We're really trying to help people get developed and learn how to take care of their trade and not waste a bunch of money, because I can tell you, when I first got into this business, especially in the Southern gospel world, when we were trying to break into that industry, it was terrible. We spent so much money in the wrong places, thousands of dollars in the wrong places, because we just didn't have direction. And so we want to be able to give people direction and just be a multifunctional place for them. Yeah.
Well, Charlie and I love Clarksville. This is our home, and I'm going to say that I'm really thrilled that you love it just as much, and that you've brought something so new and different to the community.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and that you saw the value in what the community had to offer.
Absolutely.
So thank you for that.
Well, we just want to be involved. It's like you move to a place and you want to bring money to the place that you live in. And, we go to church here, we live here, we work here, so it's like we want to support what's going on.
Well, we appreciate you being here today.
Thank you for letting me be here.
Thank you, Tony.
Thank you.